Hi guys, I've had to record my video the next day, and yes, I'm still in the same t-shirt, okay? We are human, and it's one of the things that I wanted to touch on is that sometimes we're waiting for the lighting to be perfect, for the background to be perfect. As you guys can see, I am in my tiny apartment. It won't always be like this, okay? And my phone takes forever and always like the longest time to charge, and so that's why I had to basically like wait for it to charge. So but I am back with the second part of what I was saying. So I was talking about the evil eye. So the evil eye is very, very real, and it very much works. And the weaker your spirit is, the more you can easily be penetrated by other people's evil eyes. So evil eye is people being jealous of you, people not wishing you well, and being like, oh, I hope so and so's things don't work out. I hope this bad thing happens to this particular person. And so it's not just looking at a person in a way that is evil, or you have evil hopes or intentions within your soul regarding this particular person or their child. Um, it can often also be words that people say. So words that people say can actually create curses and binds in the spirit realm. And so that's why when you do pray, please do pray against the evil things that people say about you, and the evil things that people in Zulu we say, umuntu mekubophezele ngenhliziyo, which means when they've tied their hearts, literally, like it means like somebody has tied a knot about a particular thing for you, and it genuinely it comes across as being a knot. And so when your child is born, again, that firstborn child, they come out with those knots at times. And it's very unfortunate because it depends also on the culture, but I know that a lot of cultures, there is such a great expectation on the eldest child for them to be successful. Because again, it's not also because they're the eldest child, they're the first child. And so people want them to be successful. People in their family want them to do well. And so many eyes are on them. And if there are people who are relatives or friends of the parents, sometimes they feel like, oh, yes, this child is doing just a little bit better than my child, but why is that? Or they themselves don't even have children, or they see that you as a parent are doing really, really well. And people who have an ability to see spiritual things, or who have their third eyes open, or who have certain gifts of discernment, they can either use them for good or they can use them for bad. And so those who do use them for bad will be able to see your abilities for the future, that wow, there's something about this child. And when you align yourself with spiritual matters, I'm also often able to see like, wow, that person has a really bright aura. Like there are just certain people that you can tell that this person is going to be successful even way before they become successful. Like I can often tell like, there's something special about you. Not everybody, because at a point in time I was thinking, oh, like other people can also see this about this person. Not everybody can see certain things. And so be cautious who you interact with, and don't have people in your circle who are envious of you, because they're just bringing bad energies. And I know that as people, we try to be cordial with people, but there's a difference between being cordial and just being a full-on people pleaser. And even if that's your family member, guys, like I'm not saying that people need to cut off family members, but please be cautious. It doesn't mean that just because a family member is a family member that they get to be close to you, because sometimes they even will physically feed a child something. And so again, witchcraft is like the sun. I'm going to describe it like that whether you believe in the sun or not, the sun is there and the sun is shining. So witchcraft doesn't need you to believe in it. It doesn't need you to validate it in order for it to actually work. And I'm going to be breaking down additional reasons in other videos as to why witchcraft may work on some people, why it doesn't work on some people, and what ends up happening to those for whom witchcraft is not working, or it has very adverse effects. Because, you know, people need to understand that certain things, when they don't work, it's bigger than you. Or when things do work, it's bigger than you, but it's also partly you. So yeah, that is yeah, like one of the major reasons why, yeah, that eldest child, you know, they tend to not at times be as successful as they could have been. But also, it's very important to understand that in the spirit realm, as I said previously, that people are in different levels. So just because you're born first does not mean that you are at a particular level. So the middle, or a younger child, or a child much younger than you, like the youngest of 5 or 10 kids even, could actually be the chosen child, simply because even though they were just recently born, or they were born after you as the eldest child, they are probably older than you in spirit, or they are at a different level. Let's say they are, I'll just give a very basic, vague example of there are 7 levels, and you as the eldest child are only on level 1, and this younger child is on a level 7. And so the older that they get, people might even say like, oh my goodness, you're very wise, like how do you know so many things? They're able to learn things quickly, they're able to grasp certain concepts a lot faster. And you will even find, especially if the youngest child or the middle child ends up being the chosen person in a particular family, it almost suppresses even the ability of that eldest child, where they just can't seem to push through, and you become the shining star, and you become the person that everybody is looking to for knowledge, for wisdom, for assistance, for guidance even. And that's why it constantly feels very awkward for you as the chosen child who is much younger, because you feel as though, who am I to be of guidance? Who am I to offer wisdom to people so much older than me? And that's where that push and pull is, in being the chosen soul, because it feels out of place basically. But again, I think naturally so, we're so much in our human existence, and we take everything so physically and so literally, but it's not always like that. That maybe this person who's much younger than you has done this journey several times, and as I said, they're on a different level, they're in a different headspace, and they're coming here for a whole other experience and to gain additional knowledge compared to someone else who is much older than them, who is at a much lower level. And that is why you will find, even, you know, people even will explain it like this: oh, you know, some other people are just of such low vibrational energy. It's not just about that sometimes people just don't have the capacity because of the level that they're at, and they can't always elevate themselves. Yes, they can have the tools, of course, free will is there, but it's also only to a very limited extent. So I hope this video is going to be helpful for understanding certain things for you. And again, the chosen child that I'm very much referring to, and I know that this is not going to connect with maybe other people from certain other countries or different cultures. I'm talking about this in terms of the African or South African context, where unfortunately we are still living in spaces of witchcraft. And as much as we want to ignore certain things, it is essential that we do not. Because when you live in ignorance, that's when your things can actually go haywire. And it's very important to try to be aware of certain things. It's not to say that you need to now go around being fearful of everybody. That is why I will begin my videos with prayer. I do myself pray at least no less than 5 times a day. I pray a lot. And praying certain prayers, also, covering yourself, cover your family, cover yourself from evil eye and bad energies, and any soul contracts that were made on your behalf that you do not know, because in the African context, when witchcraft comes from the family line, so what God does, and it's it's such a crazy thing, because it's so easy for people to say, oh, I'm Christian and I wholeheartedly believe in Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior, but they only want to believe in the past that they want to believe in. So what Christianity does talk about is, if you or your forefathers did something wrong, that the curses will fall onto the third and fourth generation to come. Yet, we still want to believe that, well, I didn't do anything wrong. And so the concept of bad things happen to good people, that's how sometimes that is, that you are coming from a people who did bad things. And I don't want to just simply say it in a blanket statement of you deserve the life that you have, but to make you understand is that things are coming from somewhere. They're not just happening on their own. There's something from somewhere. And so things are coming from somewhere. And it's very important for you to not just conduct yourself in a good way, but also understand that there are other people who came before you who are going to affect your life. And the people who are continuing in witchcraft in your family line, who are summoning the dead spirits within your family to either assist them, to work for them, those things are going to come back on you. And it's very unfortunate, because you're like, why am I going to be punished for something that is being done to me in an evil way? But it's the cycle of how things end up being, because this person is within your family line, and those things will come back on you as, unfortunately, like a bad karma. Karma is real. Karma is real, guys. And yes, it might seem as though it takes time to come to fruition, but eventually it does. It might not be in this particular generation, but it might be in another generation or a different generation. And we don't always get to see what happens to people. And I will give the karma example in terms of, if somebody has killed someone in your family, why should they continue on now living a wonderful life? They get to build wonderful, beautiful houses, or buy nice houses, have beautiful cars. Their children grow off and get married. And my family, as of current, I know the curses and issues that my family have. Nobody in my family is married. People in my family aren't even able to keep relationships. So there is so much that we're going to be getting into in this channel, because people don't always understand. As I said, it is not you, but in the spirit realm, it is us. And so whatever this person does, it will tie to you and the next person and the next person. And so that is why it is very imperative, the family that you have, for you guys to try your best to do right, especially those who are still alive, and to ask for forgiveness for those who have previously come before you guys and did not do right. So thank you once again, always, for watching the video, and there's so much more to come, and I'm very, very excited to have you guys. And as I said, make that video, do whatever it is. Yes, your camera quality is not all that good. Yes, your background kind of sucks at the moment, but it will not always be like this.